I'm Caiti. I'm a third year student at the University of East Anglia. I play for the third team. I'm one of the UNO reps, so I coach teams 5 to 8. And I suffered depression and anxiety since I was 13.
So, could you tell me a bit about yourself?
I think I've suffered from depression and anxiety since I was 13, but we never really knew what it was until I was about 15. I remember I started feeling awful, not great. I was panicky. I felt really low when I was in year 8, but I didn't say anything because at the time it wasn't spoken about. The school never really said anything about mental health, and it wasn't spoken about within my family. So I kind of suffered silently for 2 years until my mum figured out what was going on, or my mum could see a difference in me, which is when she spoke to the school about it, and I had a meeting with one of the assistant head teachers just to see how I was, see what was going on. But nothing really came from that. They kind of said it was a phase because of my age. I was 15 years old. So just kind of brushed it under the rug. I kept on going. And then I started getting really bad panic attacks. Like anytime I'd go outside, I'd get really anxious and really panicky, so I couldn't really go out without kind of not feeling like I could. And then it got really, really bad when I was 17, and I ended up attempting suicide when I was 17, which kind of shook everyone I knew, like especially my friends, because my friends had no idea what was going on in my head. And whilst my parents and my sister knew I wasn't feeling great, they didn't realise it was to that extent. So after that, I dropped out of college. I went away for a while to spend time with my grandparents in Cyprus to kind of like reset myself. And then I went back to the doctors, and still the doctors didn't do anything. Like, even after something that kind of brutal, which could have ended really, really badly, they didn't do anything. I had one counselling session after that, and that was it. I wasn't given any medication. I was just sent on to carry on working and then restart at my sixth form. And in that time, obviously, it got really bad still because I had gone through something which I didn't know anyone who had or tried or anything like that. I couldn't really speak to anyone about it. So it was kind of alone still. And then when I started back at sixth form when I was 17, it was kind of the same for the next year. I didn't do anything about it. I didn't tell anyone apart from my best friend. I started to open it up to her about it all, and she was there for me. But apart from that, nothing more happened until year 13, which is when I got with my boyfriend, and he encouraged me to go to the doctors again about it because it was really, really bad. I was missing out on school because of it. I would have to go home during the day because I couldn't be in school with that many people, which is when I got put on my first load of antidepressants and anxiety tablets to help me, which they did for a while, but they kind of, my body kind of got used to them, so it was kind of I'd take them, but nothing more would happen. It wouldn't help me. I just kind of feel the same still. So I came off them, so I came off them in March, year 13, and from March in year 13 to March this year, I wasn't on anything. I was having panic attacks all the time. And then it got to a point where I couldn't do my summatives, I couldn't do any of my work, and I was at the end of second year, so it was important. It's not like I was in first year and I could kind of get away with not doing anything still. So I spoke to my doctor again, who was really good this time. They sent me to counselling sessions. They put me on antidepressants, which I'm still on now. I don't do counselling anymore. It's kind of where I am now.
So how does your anxiety and your depression affect your life now at university?
Well, so it's been quite hard since I first got here, obviously, because I moved away from my family. I lived 3 hours away, so if I wanted to pop home, I couldn't. So being without my parents, it was really hard in my first and second year. But since I've been on my tablets, it has been a lot easier. Although, since coming back in September, I've struggled a lot. Like, my mental health has been really bad. Like, and it gets to the point where I sleep all the time. Like, I could sleep a full 12 hours at night and still nap like 3 times a day and still sleep like the whole night. So the workload has been really tough. It's kind of built up a bit, but I am on top of it, but I think still being here is a struggle. But but my course leader, she's great. I've spoken to her, she kind of knows a lot about what's going on, and she's so helpful with it all. So it is still hard. My anxiety's been so high this year. Like, I've not been able to go out once or twice because of it, and I've had a couple of panic attacks, but it's okay. The workload's tough, the sleeping the whole time's tough, but I'm coping. It's alright. So one thing that really helps me is sport. I've played netball since I was 7 years old, and throughout my whole school life it really helped me. Even though I was only training once a week and playing once a week, it was still something that was such a big relief. And then coming to uni and now doing netball at least 3 times a week, it's such a relief for me. It's such a way to just kind of not think about anything. Like, it takes my mind off everything. And well, during lockdown it was really hard because obviously you couldn't even go out. Like, you were allowed out for 1 walk a day. So not being able to do any netball then was really hard. And when my mental health really went down this year in March, that's when I started the gym. So I first started with a PT who was really, really good, and then I joined a gym, and I've been going since March, and it's so good for my mental health. It's helped my body, it's helped how I feel about myself, but it's helped my mental health in a way that I don't feel anxious. Like, the gym is a place I can go where I don't feel anxious. I don't feel like I could have a panic attack there. And it's just such a relief for me. If I'm having a bad day, I'll go to the gym, I'll go for a run and work out. And then it's just helped so much, along with netball. Obviously I love netball, I do it 3 times a week. I coach twice a week. I like sport. Sport's a relief for me because I'm not like artistic, I'm not good at drawing or anything like that. So sport's like kind of my only way to distract myself from everything that's going on in my head.
Do you feel as though at university with netball and all your uni work that you can balance everything equally?
Yeah, so my degree is sports development, so even when I'm doing uni work, it's still sport orientated. So with like my uni work, I can balance that with my sport life as well. And even when I'm not doing sport, like I said, my degree is sport, so it's still it's still a good distraction, even if it's like the actual working part rather than the playing part. Yeah.
What would you like to come out of this video being made?
Well, as a coaching committee member talking about depression and anxiety, I hope it encourages more people to approach others if they're not feeling okay, whether it's me, committee, like their friends, family, someone else. I just want everyone to know that it's okay not to be okay, and if you do speak to someone about it, you're not going to get judged for needing help, because people do.